Okay, welcome to a round preview where the boys are coming off a win. It's been a fantastic start to the week. I'm sure all of you are reading all the articles, watching all the videos, reading all the tweets. It's just one of those weeks where we haven't had in such a long time. But I think more so than that, I mean, it wasn't just a win, it was the way that we won. If you look at last year and the two games that we won, they were both pretty scrappy, and we sort of made our opponents sort of play down to our level and just grinded out a win. Whereas after watching the replay against the Dogs, it was just one of those games. It was just bliss for the entire 4 quarters. So very, very happy right now. And moving on to round 6, we've got the Hawks in Tasmania on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning for me here, and I really don't want to move on, to be honest. I really want to soak this up for a little bit more, because we've been starved for so long, so you never really know when the next win is coming. But this looms as a winnable game, there's no doubt about that. I'll cast your memory very briefly back to round 18 of 2018. Carlton 7 goals 10, 52. We're defeated by Hawthorn 18, 16, 124. It was a dirty day. It was one of those performances that left us really shaking our heads. It was one of those performances where we heard a lot about the green shoots and a very young side and whatnot. So many things didn't go our way on this day. Zach Fisher and Liam Jones both were out of the game in the second quarter. Tom Mitchell has 47 possessions and kicks 2 goals. Paul Puopolo kicks 4 goals. Luke Bruce kicks 5 goals. So you can kind of get the gist of what happened on that day. Probably the best thing that happened for us was Paddy Cripps kicked a pretty good goal. It was a solo effort, as it was for the majority of that game and probably the majority of last season as well. So yeah, that was that. I'm happy to move on from that. And that's the thing, we're going to have quite a few games this year where we look back to the last time we played that team and it was a thumping defeat. So I think, or we hope, but we're pretty sure that this is the end of the the 70, 80 point thumpings to teams like the Hawks. So what am I excited about? Oh, well, I'm excited about a lot. But I'm excited to see, is there going to be a follow-on effect? Is it really a case of, monkey off the back and now we start playing with more confidence? If it is, I'm really excited to see, what's going to happen. Is this going to be the start of a run? We played so well. There was no real point in the game, after looking back on it, last week's game. There was no real point where you go into this week saying, well, there was that bad patch that, could be exposed this week. So, I'm excited to see the follow-on effect, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Players just playing with a sense of relief and confidence. Hopefully there's no complacency, but yeah, excited for that. I'm excited for the fact that Cruz is back. It cannot be understated how important he is to this group and what he does to our midfield. I feel like we walk taller when he's in the side, particularly with the young guys around there. I'm sure he blocks for them, he talks to them, he communicates with them. He's got really good ruck craft and a connection with Paddy Cripps, which goes unnoticed. So I'm excited to have the big fella back in. Matthew Lobe played last time we faced the Hawks, so there's an upgrade there immediately. I'm excited to see our forward line, adding that extra layer of experience together. Charlie, if he's fit, I'm assuming he will be. I'm assuming he will come back in the side, because it didn't seem like it was too serious an injury or a niggle. But if he's back in the side, obviously that's those 3, Charlie, Mitch and Harry, those are the 3 that we're really moving forward with. So I'm excited to see that develop. It's going to take some time. There's going to be games like the Doggies, and there's going to be games like the Gold Coast. Hopefully fewer of the Gold Coast games. But in terms of how we set up with our forwards, I think we're still going to learn how to play with each other and how to play within the forward system. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see Samo and Zach Fisher and Sam Walsh just go again. I'm really pumped to see these kids develop into men. There was a real seriousness about the boys last week after really feeling the sting in that Gold Coast loss. And I'm looking forward to seeing these midfielders just add more experience, add more memories to our experience as supporters. So I'm looking to see which of the 3 or 4 of them is going to step up and have their breakout game. So moving on to what am I concerned about? Well, not much. I'm mindful of a few things. The Hawks. Look, as much as I don't fear the Hawks this week, like what we have in previous seasons. There's no doubt about the fact that we need to be mindful of their experience. They've got plenty of veterans in this team. And they've got quite a few youngsters, obviously, but plenty of premiership players. And if we don't come out and execute the way we did against the Dogs and come out with the fight and the intensity and really put them away, they'll find a way to win. There's no doubt about that. Plenty of great players in this Hawthorn side. They've got some star talent in O'Meara. I think Luke Bruce is a star as well. Jack Gunston's a really, really good player. Then it goes across with all these premiership players who have got a lot of experience in big games, and they have the ability to change something in game, and they're sort of like coaches on the field in that sense. So again, if we don't put them away, I'm mindful of them making the most of that. I'm mindful of, to be honest, that's the main thing I'm really worried about. I'm really confident going into this game. The Doggies game was something I expected to see from us a little bit earlier, and so now that it's here, I feel like this is just who we're going to be. With that comes the obvious issue of is there going to be a complacency about the group? I wouldn't have thought so, given how long it's taken for us to get to where we are right now, and obviously the boys have gone through so many downs, so many difficulties, and I think once the confidence, we think and we hope, and history suggests once the confidence kicks in, get the monkey off the back, you play with a little bit more freedom. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, you look at the Bombers. I don't know if this is a good comparison, but you look at the Bombers in the dumps, got their first win, follow-on effect, and whatnot. So yeah, mindful of the complacency. And I just want to really make sure that we make the most of this opportunity, because what we know is that we're going to go in ups and downs, and hopefully this is the beginning of a bit of an upward trend. And so I just want to preserve it as much as possible. So looking forward to that. Selections. I think if Charlie's going to play, if Charlie's fit, he's going to play. I think Levi will come out. It's unfortunate. He played very well, kicked his 3 goals, did what he needed to do. But the reality is he's a squad player. He's a role player, and Charlie is the guy that will be playing in Levi's position. I think Jack Silvani definitely stays in the side. I like the mobility. I spoke a little bit about that last week. With him coming in, I like the mobility that he provides. So I think that there's one change, and if I was going to make another change, I probably would take out Lockie O'Brien for this one, and I'd bring in Matt Kennedy. I think it makes sense. Want to go in with a really tough side against the Hawks over in Tassie. Kennedy did play really well against them last year. If you remember, it was actually his best game for the club. He had 29 touches and a really solid display throughout the midfield. So I'd bring Kennedy in for sure, at the expense of Lockie O'Brien, which is a little bit stiff. Cam Paulson is obviously another one there who could be dropped. So I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, those are the two. Charlie and Matt Kennedy in are those 2 changes that I'm flagging. And let's go again. Sunday afternoon. Get down to Tassie if you're around. I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I won't. And I'm just looking forward to moving on and not being such a basket case and not having to worry about losing by 80 points again. So let's get together, gather around each other, and cheer on the boys for hopefully another win.